I'm always inspired by doing this each year. The Wisconsin Lakes Partnership presents the Wisconsin Lakes Stewardship Awards each year in celebration of the extraordinary volunteer and professional efforts made to protect and improve lakes in Wisconsin. The Stewardship Awards represent our best collective effort to honor and celebrate all the incredible work that goes into ensuring the future of our state's legacy of lakes. Before we hand out the first award, we'd like to acknowledge the nominees we received for 2016. The new nominees are, in the citizen category, Fritz Funk, here, Valerie Stebino, and Ray Zolke. Please stand if you're here. There you are, Ray. In the group category, Burnett County Lakes and Rivers Association and the Silver Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District of Washington County. There you are. In the public service category, Susan Borman and Dorothy Semple, Jennifer Filbert, John Skogerboe, and Bradley Steckert. If you're here, please stand. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge your 2016 Lake Stewardship Award nominees. Our final award of the night comes out of the public service category, but it is a lifetime award recognizing a career dedicated to protecting and improving the health of our waters. The Lifetime Wisconsin Lake Stewardship Award for Public Service goes to John Skokerboe. Join me in congratulating John.
John Skogerboe can boast of what would be for most of us more than a lifetime of effort to improve how we manage the aquatic plant life of our lakes. States well beyond just Wisconsin benefited from his research with the Army Corps of Engineers, but in the 10 years since he retired, his work as a consultant to DNR has benefited the agency, lake management professionals, and citizens alike. John's collaboration with DNR, according to one of his nominators, has helped move science-based lake management forward by taking advantage of ongoing AIS control projects to help the Lakes Partnership understand what strategies work and why. John has spent countless hours doing research, working directly with DNR staff, reporting on his findings and teaching techniques at everything from national conferences to local lake organization meetings. His lifelong commitment to helping all stakeholders manage the problems of invasive species and to restore healthy ecosystems makes him a deserving recipient of a Wisconsin Lake Stewardship Award for lifelong service.
Well, I still can't believe this is actually happening. When I got notice of it, it took me 2 days before I could even reply by email. This is a little awkward for me because I've done a lot of talks in conferences and stuff, but normally I have my PowerPoint presentation with lots of data to back me up. So no matter how good or badly I talk, the data is behind me and it talks for itself. So last night I told Pamela Toshner that I had prepared a 1-hour PowerPoint presentation. They didn't have a time limit on it. They just said the average was 5 minutes. So I didn't actually bring it, but if you want, I can go back to my room and get it real quick. But yeah, my life has been about the data. I started working for the Army Corps of Engineers in 1977, which is I worked for them for 36 years. I've actually been retired for 3.5 years now. You know, and when I worked for the Army Corps of Engineers, our approach to aquatic plant management tended to be the small scale. We had lots of wonderful mesocosms and growth chambers, and we could do a whole bunch of stuff. And in 2004, we decided that we needed to start dispersing our people into the regions themselves. We were normally based, our facilities were based in Mississippi and Texas. So Mike Netherland, Dr. Netherland, he went off to Florida, and I moved up to Eau Gallie, Wisconsin. And we commenced a number of studies, and I had some studies going in Minnesota, had some studies going in Wisconsin with the DNR, had some studies going in the Michigan UP, and we did that for about 3 years. And at the end of those 3 years, this was 2006 to 2008, I sat down with Tim Asplin and Science Services, Jennifer Hawkswell and Michelle Nault, and we looked at the data and we thought, there's a whole bunch of conventional wisdom that everybody's thinking, and there's a whole bunch of it that's not working. It's conventional, but it's not wisdom. At which point, the DNR, or the state of Wisconsin, came out with their AIS grant program to do aquatic plant management. At the same time, my teammate in Florida, Mike Netherland, he developed our capability for doing mass chemical analysis of herbicides. And so we're looking at this and we're thinking we need to get doing some field research real quick, because there's a whole bunch of things that aren't working the way we thought. So we decided basically to get into mass research. We decided basically that every project that was done under the grant program, we would collect extensive data. We collected herbicide concentration data. We collected point intercept plant data, and we had a number of participants in doing this. You think, well, we worked with the DNR. Well, there's multiple groups within the DNR. We had the Madison headquarters people working. We had Science Services working with us, and they were a major part of what we were doing. And of course, we couldn't do it without the regional offices. They all had to play a big part. So now we were able to, we had the money to, there was the money to do the management techniques. We had developed a methodology for actually monitoring herbicide concentrations. We had developed the methodology for monitoring the plants. We had one last point. We were talking about doing a lot of lakes. We needed one last partner, and that was somebody to go out and collect all the samples. I could collect samples from some of them, but I couldn't get to all of them. So got the big brainstorm. We would use volunteers. That's not a novel idea in Wisconsin, but it was a novel idea for the work we do. And I mean, they collected thousands and thousands of samples for us, and they did an excellent job, and they were a major part of it. We also had, help from the industry, UPI, Applied Biochemists, CPRO, they were all part of it. So they were in there. We had some consultants, Onterra in particular. You'll see their names on a lot of our stuff. So we had a lot of people. I suspect we had over 100 people working on this research project. And at the peak, we went to probably over 50 lakes a year in what we were doing. So we did it, and in the process, we were also working with our partners who did all the mesocosm and the growth chamber tests. So I was sending them data for them to design their small tests. They were sending us data so that we could incorporate it into more and more field projects. And we did this, and it evolved into probably one of the biggest field studies that I know of ever. And in collecting all this data, we learned a lot. We were constantly modifying procedures as we were learning new things every year. We modified new procedures. And I'll have to say, one of the end results was, after all the data collection that we did, the Wisconsin DNR collectively have probably become one of the premier organizations in the country in aquatic plant management. So So I would, one of the closing statements is that if they say something, I would listen to them. So, so, I mean, receiving this award is just a huge honor, and I still don't believe it, but okay, I got it here. But it was also, what we did was actually probably the chance of a lifetime for a research person. I could not have ever imagined what we did before we got it. So thank you very much.